Hey everybody, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and I am kicking off a reading vlog. I don't actually know. I don't actually know what I'm going to get through. My TBR prompt this month was Stephen King, and I have been lamenting that I am behind on my reading my unread Stephen King books. So I was like, that's perfect. Okay, great. I will knock some books out with this month's TBR jar. We're already halfway through the month and I haven't picked up a single thing. So I'm like, okay, let's pick up the pace and at least get through one or two books. So I'm going to show you what I have and talk a little bit about what my plans are here. So I'm scared of this book, but I'm going to try to read The Eyes of the Dragon. I did not vibe well at all with Stephen King's fantasy epic, and I know that is a very unpopular opinion. People seem to love that series. So I've always kind of put this in the same category as the Dark Tower series, and I don't know that that's necessarily true. I've been told that I should like this. I don't, but we'll see. We'll see. This is like the most tentative addition to this TBR because I'm gonna give myself permission to DNF it if I'm not feeling it, because I don't want to hate read it. I am not interested in doing that. I don't enjoy hate reading things. So I'm going to give this a try. But this is the most likely thing to get bumped off of this TBR, if I'm being honest. I don't even know what it's about. I don't know. I know it's fantasy. I know there's a dragon. I know. I've been told it's kind of like middle grade YA fantasy. I don't know. We'll see. I have from a Buick 8. This is one of my books from my collection. I think this was gifted to me by my brother, who rarely buys me presents. So I've held onto this for years. I think I did start this one. I feel like this is one I DNF'd, but I don't remember why. I think it was probably most likely just not in the right headspace. I have enjoyed his other weird car books. I don't even know what this is specifically. I vaguely recall that the trunk of the car is like a portal. Something like that. I don't know. But this is one of those books that has just lingered in the back of my head. Why didn't you ever finish this? So I should probably try to do that. This is most likely what I'll end up reading first. But then I was at the library yesterday, and I was like, let me just look. And if this is in the library, I'm going to bring it home. And if not, no big deal. But if they have it, I think this is one that I would be really excited to read. And they did have it. And that is Rose Madder. I don't own this. I've always meant to get a copy, but I just never did. And this is a book that I feel pretty strongly that I'm going to love. I don't actually know much about it, though, to tell you about what it is. I think it has to do with a woman who is escaping an abusive husband or something to that effect, but her husband is a cop and he's good at finding people. So she's on the run from the sadistic cop, basically, who is also her husband. That's the most vague synopsis I can give you, because that's really what I've gathered. But I feel like this has strong potential, and I've always wanted to read it. So those are the books that I'm going to try to work through the next week or so. It is already Wednesday. It's the 14th. We're in the middle of May. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to try to start something. I'm going to see what audiobooks I have access to. That will be a key determining factor here in what I read first, to see which audiobook I can grab, because apparently that's how I read now. I don't know, every time I've tried to read a book just with my eyes that was a physical copy, not like an ebook, can't focus. I don't know what it is, but it's a problem that I need to figure out how to fix, because oh my god. Like, do you remember back when you could read things with your eyes? Like, what was that? How did I do that? I don't know. So I'm going to see what audiobooks I have access to right now, and I'll start something. So let's see what I end up picking. So I just did a quick search, and I am now on the wait list on Libby for both Rose Madder and The Eyes of the Dragon. Both of them are like, oh, only one person is waiting, and so I'm probably gonna get both of them at the same time tomorrow. but I can listen to From a Buick 8 on Hoopla. So I guess that's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with From a Buick 8, which is kind of like what I hoped for anyway, because I did really want to make sure I read at least one of the books that I own on my TBR, since that was the whole purpose of the TBR jar, not to read a library book, but to read something from my own collection. So I'm going to go ahead and start From a Buick 8. I have to make dinner in a little bit, so I'll probably listen to this while I'm cooking, and I'll pop back in later and share some thoughts. I don't know how I want to do this video. Part of me wants to be kind of spoilery, because all three of these are older books. Like, the newest one I have, I think, is From a Buick 8, and it came out in 2002. So, like, I got this as a new release. My brother bought me this for my birthday that year, I think, back in 2002. I don't even know, when was Eyes of the Dragon written? Eyes of the Dragon, where's your copyright year? Oh, 1987. When did Rose Madder come out? I know all of these are old. Let me see if I can find it. No, that's the prologue. We're getting ahead of her. Ooh, I like the artwork on the inside of this. It's pretty. 1995. So all of these are kind of old. How do we feel about spoilers? I always try really hard not to give away details. However, with older books, I'm like less inclined to be worried about it, because I'm usually like, oh, I'm the last person to read this. It's not entirely true, obviously, but you know what I mean? So I might get a little bit into some spoilers. So be aware of that going into this video. But yeah, I'm excited to knock some of these books off my list, and we'll see what I think. If I had to pick, I suspect my favorite will probably be Rose Madder, just because, like, the way I felt just like reading through the synopsis really quick, I was just like, oh yeah, this is definitely an Emily book. I just feel it. Like, that's definitely like the kind of thing I typically would enjoy. It also felt more similar, not exactly, very different storylines, but more like the plot of Dolores Claiborne and Gerald's Game and that kind of thing. So I feel like within those kinds of stories, like, that's some of my favorite Stephen King. And then I think I'll probably enjoy From a Buick 8. We'll see. I'm still like very uncertain about this one. I want to give it a shot though, because I keep saying I don't like his fantasy. What if I actually do? Let's give it a try at least, right? So anyway, that is my plan. I'm hoping I can binge through these relatively quickly, because I still have so many other things to read. I am in one of those like panicked, like, I have too many things to read and I want to read all of them right now, and I don't know how to make that work. I have to do other things, like I have a job, I have other things to do, but like, I just want to read. I just want to read all the things at the same time and just absorb all the stories. Can I just do that? Okay, so I just listened to the first like 10%, I think, of the audiobook for From a Buick 8. And I can already tell you why I DNF'd it. Like, I figured it out really quick. It's very much like a cop story, and like the whole section is like cops talking about the car, and like talking about their life as cops. They're talking about like grief, and I guess this one kid's dad died, and he was one of the main police officers. And then like talking about how they acquired this car, and so like I'm sure it's gonna get better, and I'm determined to stick it out a little bit more this time before I DNF it. But I think I can tell you that that's what I didn't like. Like, I'm not a fan of stories about like police work and stories about police officers and detectives and that kind of thing. That's just not something I enjoy reading about. So that's why I DNF'd this book. I totally forgot that that's what was going on here. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to give it a little more of a go and see what I think. I'm gonna aim to hit 30% and make a decision at that point. Like, am I interested or am I bored? So, because right now I'm a little bit bored, but I'm like, no, you can do this. You can keep going. You're gonna give it a chance. So that's what I'm doing. So we'll see what I think. But yeah, Stephen King does like his cop stories, and those are usually the ones that I don't love as much, so we'll see. And if you are curious, I'm making spaghetti for dinner. I have our meat sauce is made with ground turkey and pasta. Gluten-free, of course. This is my favorite pasta brand, Tinkiata. I really like their pasta. It tastes really good. So that's what I'm making tonight. So hungry. So it is currently Thursday evening. It's like 5 o'clock. I need to go start dinner. But I was reading. So I am now, I think like almost halfway into From a Buick 8. And I decided that I am curious enough about what's going on to keep going, but this is not going to be like a new favorite, I don't expect. Like right now it's a solid 3. So at this, I'm trying to think, where did we leave off at the last time? But like at this point they're just kind of telling stories about this Buick and how they know something's weird and wrong with it, and they know it's not right. And then I guess there was an incident where one of the police officers disappears after going in and looking at it, and they think that the car ate him. and like I said, when I told you that like all I really knew about this was that the Buick is kind of like a portal, or has a portal or something like that. We also had an incident with like something coming out of it from that part, from that world. And it's like a giant moth bat, which is like the scariest thing I can fathom because I hate bats and I'm terrified of moths. So like a moth bat sounds horrific. I think only Stephen King could think of that. But I don't know where this is gonna go. Like, I feel like someone is gonna end up, like if I had to guess, I feel like someone is going to try to go in and explore. Like they're doing experiments with gerbils right now. And I feel like at some point someone's going in, right? Like they're gonna try to do some kind of reconnaissance and figure out what this portal car thing is. Like, I don't know. But I am intrigued. So I shall continue. I'm hoping to finish this tomorrow. Like, I don't know if I'll have any more time to read tonight, but I'm hoping to maybe squeeze in another chapter while I'm cooking dinner, and we'll go from there, and we shall see. I have to say too, I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm not loving it. It's fine, but it is like 3 different male narrators, and I don't know what it is, but very rarely do I enjoy an audiobook narrated by a man. I think maybe 3 times I've ever been like, wow, that's a great audiobook, and it was narrated by a man. I just feel like male voices tend to drone more, in my opinion anyway. Like, I don't know, but these narrators are very okay for me, so I'm gonna try to to listen to a little bit more tonight while I'm making dinner. And then later I have a family chat. We have family call tonight with Sarah because, you know, we try to do a family call once a week so we can all talk and touch base with Sarah. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. But yeah, right now I just want to go make some dinner and read a little bit more. But I'm excited to finish it though, because what did I say yesterday? This morning my Libby hold for Rose Matter came in. So I'm like, that was the one I wanted to start with. So I want to hurry up and finish from a Buick 8 so I can quickly read Rose Matter, because I feel like that's going to be the one that like ends up a favorite of the 3 books. I feel strongly that I'm going to love Rose Matter way more than I do from a Buick 8 or The Eyes of the Dragon, but I'm giving it a go. We'll see. I don't think I'm gonna DNF from a Buick 8 unless it gets like really bad. But right now, I am intrigued. I don't think it's gonna be a DNF. So that's where I'm at today. It's been very rainy and yucky out, and I've been cooped up, and I didn't really do much outside of just work and reading. So I gotta get up and move my body. Did I just binge this in like 2 days? Only just to be done with it? Yes. This was... Hi, there's dogs. Hello. Hello, Drew. Yeah, I know. I'm sitting in your spot. This was mediocre at best. I like the concept of the car and like all of that, but like this book somehow is not really about that. Don't really know how to explain it. Like, if you enjoy stories about the lives of police officers and like this weird experiment they're doing, this is for you. I got bored. I was intrigued enough by the concept of the car to keep going, but about the halfway point I just went, oh, nothing's ever going to be explained. No one's going to do anything really. They're just a bunch of guys who are like, this thing is weird and we're going to just keep watching it. And like, that's the story. That's the book. That's all there is. It's just, I got bored. I did not have a great time. I'm going to give this a generous 2 stars. I rarely rate this low. So like I was just so bored, and I won't say that I was hate reading, but honestly by the end I was just like, let's just get through it. Let's just get to the end of the book. So that's where I'm at with that. I am excited though, because now that I finished from a Buick 8, I can start Rose Matter. But before I start this, I have to finish. I have like too many things going. Do you ever get into this place where you've started like 6 books and you really need to finish something before you can start something else? That's where I'm at right now. I've started too many things. So I should probably try to finish something that I've already started before I start a new one. But I am excited to start that. So when you see me next, I will have already begun reading Rose Matter and I will have thoughts. Honestly, if it was anything else, I would have DNF'd from a Buick 8 again and just said, never mind, forget it. But I was just like, you know what? I have to finish it for the video. Because chances are pretty solid that that's the only owned Stephen King novel I'm going to end up getting to this month. So I wanted to finish it because I'm definitely reading this next, but it's a library book, so it doesn't really count towards my Stephen King prompt, since that's for books on my shelves. This is sort of a cheat because it's just one that I really wanted to read, and I'm counting it towards my unread Stephen King. I don't know if this is going to happen. I'm going to try, but I'm already starting to feel a little bit of stress about how much I still need to get to this month. So that one might get bumped into another month, but this will definitely be happening next. So anyway, did not enjoy, 2 stars, would not recommend, Unless, of course, you really like stories about cops. And then, you know what? This is definitely a book for you. I wonder if there's anyone. I went and looked at the reviews, and this is pretty much universally a disliked book. Which, I mean, is kind of a bummer, but also, like, everyone has a dud, right? Duds will happen. So anyway, we're going to just wipe that from our memory, and we're going to move on. When you see me next, I will have already begun reading Rose Madder, and I will have thoughts. So I started Rose Madder. I am 87 pages in. I think I got through parts 1 and 2. I think I'm on part 3. Yeah. And I'm liking it quite a lot so far. Much better than From a Buick 8. Like, this is miles better for me. This is way more my style of Stephen King writing too. From a Buick 8 is like a supernatural story, and this is much more a like people being terrible kind of a situation where we have a woman escaping from an abusive husband, and the abusive husband is like the worst. He is a terrible person and has like 0 redeeming factors, and so like we're following Rosie as she's waking up to the realization that she's in a bad marriage and in a bad situation in general, and if she stays, she's going to die here. So she just kind of spur of the moment runs away. And so we're following her as she escapes. And at the beginning of part 2, she has made it out to a shelter, and he is on his way to find her. He's a cop and like a detective. And he's very much like, he's very good at his job. He knows how to find people. So this got started like immediately. And I really thought we were going to like build up to her leaving. So now I'm like, well, where's this going to go? I'm expecting chaos. And so I'm hoping, I don't think I'm going to finish it this weekend because this is a much longer book. I do have the audio, which I don't know how I feel about yet. I like it, except that they do these like musical interludes, and I hate when there's just like random music, like doesn't have to do with the story. They just like keep playing this like piano overture over like the ends or beginnings of certain sections. I don't like it because when I listen to an audiobook, I'm listening on like 2.5 speed, and that makes the music sound so weird, and I don't love that. I also don't love when they're talking over the music because it's so much harder to decipher what they're saying. Thankfully I had the book so I could like go back and read over those passages again because I was like, wait, what? But anyway, enough of that. I have to film today. I have a book haul I think I'm gonna do, and I have like a ton of editing to do for this video, for that video. I have work to do on level 12 because I'm making really good progress there, and I don't want to let up. I just have too much to do. There's too much to do. So I'm going to go try to get some things done, try to listen to some more of Rose Madder while I'm doing other things, and maybe I'll be able to check back in later today with more things to talk about. I have just passed the halfway point in Rose Madder, and I wanted to pop in really quick so we could talk about it so far. I am so intrigued with where the story is going because I did not really read the synopsis. I knew that this had to do with a battered woman escaping a bad marriage and her husband coming after her. That's like all I knew going in. But there's also this like weird painting. And so let me see if I can explain this. So after she escapes her marriage and she's like kind of feels like she's free, and she goes into this like little store to see if she can pawn her wedding ring. And that's when she finds this painting. And it's a very strange painting, and like nobody really knows what to do with it. So they have it in this, and they're like, you know what? We'll trade your ring for it. It's fine, whatever. And so she brings it home. She's like just enamored with it. She sees something in this painting and it just makes her feel a certain way. So she really wants it. She hangs it in her room and she just spends so much time staring at it. And she notices the painting is like changing over time. Like it's expanding. And it's such a weird idea and I love it. I think it's, and that's where the name of the book comes from, because the inscription of the painting just says Rose Madder. And that's part of like what draws her to it, is that, oh, it's my name, because her name is Rose. And she's like, wow, okay, so it's meant to be mine. But it's just so weird and I love it. It's such a strange concept. I do want to say, like, as much as I'm enjoying this, the husband is the worst human ever. Like, trigger warnings. Like, there's so many trigger warnings. He's a vile person. The things that he's done to Rosie over the course of her marriage, then she's reflecting back on it and thinking over, like, all the terrible, like, he's done some, like, heinous things to her, and she does go into some detail. And, like, the way he talks about people, he's very racist, very homophobic. Like, it's a lot. So you should know that going in, that this is a, like, seriously vile person, and he is awful, and I hate being in his head. The sections where you're in his head are just a lot. The audiobook, though, the sections that are Norman, her husband, are read by Stephen King, which is kind of a neat thing. Like, I do enjoy when authors get to read their own books. Like, that's always enjoyable for me. And he's not a bad narrator, so that's pretty cool. But, like, also, it's a lot, and I don't enjoy that. And I'm very excited for whatever terrible thing is about to befall him, because I know something's coming. So I'm probably not going to come back until I finish. Which, you know, I don't know, depending on my day, is either going to be later today or tomorrow, because I just feel like I need to just binge the rest of this book, because I feel like from here on out it's about to ramp up and get really crazy. So I'm excited for it. I'm very intrigued with where this story is going. So like I'm like, if I have to give it a rating right now, it's a 5-star. Like, there is a chance something stupid could happen and pull it down, but I don't think that's the case. I feel like this is going to be a 5-star all the way through, and I'm excited. So I'll come back when I'm done, and I'll let you guys know. I don't know what I'm doing today, but I'm definitely going to be reading at least a little bit. So I have some work to do. I have to go to storage at some point and complete a book order and do some organizing there, and I have, like, errands I might have to do later, but like, I really just want to read. I want to read so bad and finish this book. My battery is low, so let's try to get through this. I finished Rose Matter last night, and I think I love it. I want to give this 5 stars. I'm glad I went into this not really knowing a lot. There was definitely a fantastical element to it that I didn't expect, that I actually kind of loved. This, I guess, is connected to the Dark Tower series. The painting that she buys, like that this book is named for, is kind of like a portal to this other world that I guess is a place from the Dark Tower series, and that's where she meets Rose Matter and this other woman there, and they help her. And I did not know that going into this. I kind of thought this was just going to be a people being terrible kind of a story, and it is that, because obviously she's dealing with a horrible marriage situation where her husband is like viciously abusive, and there's no redeeming quality about her husband. Like, he is the absolute worst human on the planet, like so terrible. And I mean, my only real complaint is the fact that he is such a, like, just black hat obvious villain, and I would love, I prefer to have, not that I think that there's anything redeeming about an abusive husband, but I prefer to have just like a little more gray to the villain. And this villain is, there's no gray. He's just the worst. And so that's maybe could be a turnoff if that is a thing that you don't like. But I didn't mind it as much in this because I found Rosie a very compelling character, and I was rooting for her. And I think that's what's most important, is that I care about the main character of the story and like what's going to happen to her. My other only minor complaint is I feel like Stephen King does not know how to end a story. He either ends it in a stupid or abrupt way, or he drags. And this is a drag because it just keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. And I kept expecting that to be the end of the book, and then there was a little more. We end up following Rosie far longer than I expected to at the end of the story. I was just like, when is this ending? But I didn't dislike the ending, if that makes sense. Like, it did go on longer than I thought it was necessary to, but it worked for the story, so I guess it's like a minor complaint. Overall, though, I really enjoyed this. I really liked the magical element of the story. I love portal fiction, and this wasn't exactly that, but it kind of was. And so, like, I loved that element of it. I really enjoyed, like, the way the villain is dealt with. I enjoyed this so much more than I expected to. I went in hoping this would be good, and I had high hopes, and I'm glad that they were met. I'm kind of wishing now that I wasn't on a book buying ban, because I would like to own a copy of this. I don't own this one. I have to bring this back to the library. But I'm going to call this a successful reading vlog. I read 2 Stephen King novels. One was a dud and one was amazing. And that's kind of the luck of the draw, the roll of the dice with Stephen King. He either like nails it or he doesn't. And Rose Matter, I think, worked for me really well. From a Buick 8, not so much. So I'm gonna wrap this up here because I do not have time to get to The Eyes of the Dragon. I wished I did, but I just, like, I can't. I don't have time. I need to move on to other things and other projects and other books because I'm getting overwhelmed. So I'm gonna save that for another time. But I'm happy with my success here. I did read 2 Stephen King books. Did you read either of these books? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Please comment down below if you read From a Buick 8 or Rose Matter and what you thought of them. I would love to hear about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.